Hello, and welcome back to the Create series, Season 1, Episode 11. In the last episode, we added power to our base. And in between episodes, I did a little decorating of the lobby here. Have some storage areas, some work areas, bunch of instruction manuals on how to use this boiler. Up here we have live displays of the two boiler status. That will update if something changes with the boiler. And then down here on this display, we have the amount of stress units that we have left in the system. I haven't really done much in here. Put a little caution tape. So you don't want to go in here and get burned or anything. So. And if you do, you can't say I didn't warn you with the caution tape such. In this episode, we need to come up with a better way to get in between these hallways. You know, we could just keep using the scaffolding. That's cool. Yeah. We could put in ladders, maybe, or maybe build a stairwell. I mean, that would work. Probably the most efficient thing would be using the little bubble vaders. They're nice and fast and small and convenient, but they're not cool. We're using the create mod. We have to have an elevator, but not just any elevator. I think for this build, I'm just going to start building and see how long it takes you to figure out what I'm doing. And then at the end, we'll come back and talk about it. Okay, I think I've got the elevator circuitry all hooked up, but I'm procrastinating going to try because I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. So maybe I'll just sit here. Should I go try it? Yeah. All right, let's go try it. Well, looks like it works. I mean, it at least goes up. I don't know that it works. We'll work the bugs out. Oop, yellow level. You think we're here? Let's go look. It looks like we're one too high there. I can fix that. Yellow level. Let's run it back down. I don't know. See what happened there. That's right. The whole house is the elevator. Did you see that coming? I hinted about it earlier. How many of you saw that coming? All right. I need to do a little troubleshooting, then we'll look at it in more detail. Okay, after a few tweaks, we have our elevator house all ready to go. On the top floor here, the green floor. And yeah, it goes up and down on with the controller right here, which is cool. That's cool, but it's even cooler. If we go down to the bottom floor, you may notice that every floor has a call button. Comes my house. There we go. Someone call for an elevator? Or a house? One more time. Haha, that's pretty cool. So you may be wondering how this all works. Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked. Ah! Okay. That's not cool. As I was saying before I was so rudely dumped out of my house, I'm glad you asked how it all works. Let's go through it. So it's actually not as complicated as it looks. In fact, let's start at the top. So up here on the crane section, and I'm going to cover this in a little housing or whatever, so it looks better. When this signal is received through this redstone link, it turns that NOR latch off, and that says go down. When this redstone link receives a signal, it turns the NOR latch on, which powers this, and tells the gear shift to go up. This is a sequence gear shift. It's set to every time it gets a pulse, it goes 12 meters, which is the number of blocks between floors of my house. So when they get a signal here, it'll go 12 meters, and then the gear shift determines, is that 12 meters up or is that 12 meters down? So that's actually pretty simple. Right. This circuit is the circuit that actually pulses that sequence gear shift. And it'll basically, this redstone link says, if I want to go 1 floor, then pulse this one. If I want to go 2 floors, then pulse that one. For this circuit, it doesn't really matter. It just sends a pulse that says, hey, I want to go. Okay, so that pulse, this little circuit here is just a rising edge detector, so we only get the on signal of the button press and not when the button releases. So that runs up here, and that actually goes into a repeater that's locked. And it also runs down here into a repeater that's locked. This level is the circuit that says just do 1 pulse, meaning I only want to go 1 floor. And then this circuit down here is the one that says I'll let you do 2 pulses. It's just got a little counter here that counts twice. So depending on which button you press, I can see here, this redstone link, this is the 2 floor. So when that happens, it unlocks, or it toggles this toggle, which unlocks this repeater, which lets the signal through, and that starts the pulse. And then it'll go 1 more time, and then when the counter expires, it toggles it back off, which relocks the repeater so that the signal can't go through anymore. Same thing up here. This one is the single floor press. It just does the same thing. It toggles this, releases this, and it lets the pulse go out. When the pulse goes out, this is, remember, the control line that goes up to the sequence gear shift and says, hey, go 12 meters. So the too long didn't read version is this one pulses once, this one pulses it twice. So it either goes 12 meters or 24 meters, depending on which command was sent to these links. And well, what sends those commands? That's this circuit over here. At the bottom, we have floor detection. So you can see this one's lit up. I mean, it's on the elevators at floor 1 right now, and we'll see how that's detected in a minute. And this is just a red decoder that says, I'm going to detect which floor it's on. This is floor 1, that's floor 2, and that's floor 3. Okay, so that signal is just ANDed with a button press signal. I don't know if you can see them over here. These little links here are hooked up to the call buttons on each floor. So that's the call button for floor 1, floor 2, and floor 3. You can see this torch is off. That means each level is detecting that the elevator is on floor 1. Okay. So if this call button gets pressed, this AND gate fires and it sends this command. So this is level 3 call button. So if, let's say it gets pressed, this will go off, which means this torch turns on, which activates this circuit. This first signal is the control line that says, hey, I want you to go up. So it puts the gear shift in up. And then this one, after a little bit of a delay, sends the command down there to run the 2 counter, which is going to pulse the elevator twice. And all the rest of the circuitry is exactly the same, depending on where the elevator is. Like this one over here, if the call button's pressed on 3, and the elevator happens to be on floor 2, the same kind of thing. It says, I still want you to go up, but I only want you to go 1 floor. And that's really all there is to it. Let's go look at the detection circuits. So the detection circuits are actually kind of simple. I have a chest full of items, and that's read by this comparator, which just powers this redstone link that says, hey, I'm on floor 1. And then these are repeated on every floor. An unfortunate thing, when the contraption starts to move, it doesn't actually update this block, so this will stay on. So I've just got a little stupid little blinker here that calls block updates. Hopefully that'll change in the future, or maybe if you know a better way to do a block update, let me know. But that's all that does. Update this block, so when this moves, this will turn off. And if it were to go up to floor 2, this would be at the detector on floor 2, and it would do the same thing, but send the signal to the floor 2 detector, which again was right down here. So hopefully that was somewhat clear. It's not that complicated. It's just redstone is verbose. Got a squatter on the roof. But it turns out this is a common problem. These morons come and get in my tree farm and cause it to stop moving. So you may want to consider building your tree farm inside. Or putting up a fence or something. He shot him. Whoop. Look at me. Whoop. Miss me. I wanted you to kill the other guy because I don't want to start a raid in my villager area. Get over in the spot that I can set on fire. Nope. Ow. Pretty good shot. Hey, do better. So far, when I've needed resources for a project, I've just gone caving, went out and gathered the resources in some other manner, or what have you. In Create Mod, you can create just about anything that you need with some sort of contraption. And it kind of all starts with cobblestone. So I think on this top floor, we're going to build a cobblestone generator, and then we'll start building some machinery to make some of the other basic building blocks that we need in our other builds. So I think I'm going to break through this wall, dig out another section for a big factory floor, and get that started. So since cobblestone is the beginning of all other resources, or at least most of them, let's go ahead and build a cobblestone generator. So the classic Create Mod cobble generator uses the Minecraft mechanic where water meets lava, and cobblestone is created, and then the Create Mod drills break the cobble, and then you collect it in some fashion. And that works fine. The technique I'm going to use today, I actually saw a video from Tango Tech. I'll put a link down in the description of that video. But it works on a perky game mechanic from Create Mod. So basically what happens is when you have a contraption in Create Mod and it starts moving, it stops becoming blocks and becomes entities. So when in this particular design, when that happens, the pumps are trying to pump lava into solid blocks. And then there's water sitting on top of the solid blocks, and they don't really hit. But if you move the blocks in between the water and the lava, with the contraption, they temporarily become entities. The cobblestone will form, and then when you stop the contraption, the things that were entities turn back to blocks, and now they're trying to occupy the same space as the cobblestone that was just generated. And the result of that is the cobblestone all breaks. You can make a huge sheet of cobblestone very quickly. I modified the design a little bit to work a little better for me. I'm going to use a rotational contraption where he used a linear contraption, but it's the same principle. I'm using chests along the side because they're not a full block. With full block, the cobble tends to get hung up in the blocks, and this will keep me from losing that cobble. Once all the cobble breaks, it washes down into this channel of water, which will wash it down into a chute and then into our storage system. The neat thing about this design is the conversion happens so fast that the lava doesn't actually get used up. So a single source block of lava is enough to keep it going. So with every rotation that happens there, we're getting 48 cobble. Crazy. I'm going to turn down the delay on the timer so it goes a little bit faster. Obviously, we're not going to store the cobble in this chest, so I'm going to go ahead and convert this into a vault. That'll be a huge buffer of cobblestone. I don't want the system to back up once the vault is full, so we're going to put this stockpile switch on, and it'll automatically turn off the clock when the system is full. And when the inventory lowers, it'll automatically turn it back on. So now that the generator is hooked up, we'll run a line out here to some other processing stations to make things like gravel and sand and soul sand and so on. So there's no real good way to just go here and get cobble out of the vault. So I think what I'm going to do is make a little belt-fed kiosk. Kind of sits out here. And then I'll have it autofill with cobble. And then that way, if I need some cobble, I can just come up to the floor, open the chest, and get the cobble. So let's hook that up. Put this down on the floor. Make it easier to walk over anyway. Probably going the wrong way. No, it's going the right way. Nice. That's hooked up. So what we want to do, put a stockpile switch on here. And we'll run it up pretty high. We'll say, going to have a little bit of a backlog. So we'll say at 95. We want to turn it on. Turn it off, I guess. Then at 90. When it empties 90, we'll turn it back on. I'll put this on backwards for now. Let's see if that'll work. I don't know if that'll work. Alright, so the way this should happen, when I turn that around, that's going to start filling this up. When it gets about 95% full, it should activate this redstone line, and I think that'll lock it. We'll see. Yeah, so it locks it there. There'll be a few left on the belt, but I don't think they despawn on the belt, so that should be okay. It should be pretty much full. Now when I go below 90%, if I come and get some cobble, it'll just load it back up. We've got a self-refilling kiosk for cobble. I should probably work on making it a little prettier. There we go. Cobble kiosk. I'm not sure when I'm gonna need a ton of cobble. Maybe around Thanksgiving I'll come for cobble. Sorry. Yeah, after that joke, there's no way I can continue the episode. So we're gonna call it here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. You know, if I had a nickel for every time I put one of those on a chest accidentally, I'd be so rich.